Hello.
Hello สวัสดีค่ะ
Hello. How are you today?
I'm fine.
Good. The people next door were taking many showers, flushing the toilet, so we have to quickly do the show before they decide to go back to their troublesome ways. Okay, questions for us today. What?
What's different?
The difference.
The
Difference.
difference between fairness and justice.
Justice and fairness. Right. Fairness is a personality type. So you would say he is fair. He has fairness. That means that when two people come to him, he will or she will decide what's right and what's wrong. She'll listen to one side, and then she'll listen to the other side, and then she'll make a choice, and both people should say, yes, you made the right choice. That's a fair person. If Sipti comes to me and her friend comes to me, and Sipti says, I'm the good person, and her friend says, I'm the good person, and I say, Sipti, you're the bad person. Okay, Sipti's not going to say I'm fair. She's going to say, John, you're a bastard. But if you are smart and you listen and people believe that you're really trying to make the right choice, then they'll say you're fair. They'll say that was fair. That was a good choice. But usually one side is angry, so it's hard for everyone to agree that you're fair. Justice is when you force people to follow rules. So usually when someone says, I'm going to bring you to justice, they mean that they're going to bring you to the police. They're going to bring you to the government or to some group that has power to decide if you're right or wrong or you should be punished. Fairness is not about punishment. It's just only a good thing. You can't say that someone who is fair is bad. It's not possible. If someone tells you that you're a fair person, that's a good thing. You should be happy. But if someone says, I'm going to bring you to justice, that could be good or that could be bad, depending on if the justice, if the person who has power is good or not. If you bring someone to justice to a horrible judge, it's not going to be justice. It's going to be punishment. So justice is some type of force to make you do what they think is right, and fairness is just listening to both sides and being kind and making the right choice. Now, if you said he is just, that's closer to fairness. A just person and a fair person are similar. Justice, when I hear justice, it's angry, but just is not. It's a little bit more strength, but it's not like justice. So when someone says he's fair or she's fair, it just means that they listen to both sides and that they're kind. But if someone says you're just, that means you fight for what is right. How do we know what's right? Well, it depends on the person. So if the person's good, then hopefully just is good. But if they're a bad person, then being just is not necessarily good.
Another your friend.
Oh, well, I have many friends that make sounds during the show. Okay, I'm sure Simpti is excited to try each word, but I don't think you want to try it? Okay, fine.
I think
That's fine. Any other questions?
no, thank you.
Okay, so it's time for another episode of
John's painful. What story lah?
stories. I don't know about stories. History lessons.
History.
But if it's a history of a person, we call it a biography. So if you're just talking about the past and people in the past, then it will be history. But if you're talking about a person, then it will be a biography. So if you write your own story of your own life, that's called an autobiography.
Auto.
So if someone writes about you, that's a biography. If you write about yourself, simply says, I love cats. I'm very rich. And I have
Not
many
interesting.
English skills. Right? Anyway, so today we're having John's painful biography. It's going to be full, remember, of missing dates, confusion, racism, simplifications.
I think most story I understand.
Well, but mine's more than other people's problems. Also, you could see Simpti yawning. Oh, during the lesson.
Like when in the classroom, class study.
Yeah, exactly.
When we just listen.
Exactly. I don't like to do it, but I think that these are important, so that's why I'm doing it. But usually, you're right, we need interaction to stay focused. Anyway, let's see if you know who it is.
I don't.
You want to show people?
I think I don't.
This guy.
Actor.
No, his name is Nikola Tesla.
Nikola
Tesla.
Sound
Nikola.
like Nikola Tesla.
Yeah. So actually, not that many people in America know Nikola Tesla. San.
Who is he?
Anyway, not very many people in America. Your friends are coming back.
Today many problem. I woke up late.
Right.
Your friend
We have to
come
wait for them to...
3 times.
3 times already. They like to make as much trouble as they can. But I listened to the show when they are making noise, and it's so loud I couldn't hear myself.
Yes.
So I can't.
And today very bad than
No, it's the same. Anyway, so we'll have to do our lesson in between the sounds of the of the shower. People say, John, well, why don't you just edit the video? Well, because it's real, right? That's real life. In real life, you're trying to talk, and someone is making noise.
People
it's
like
not
to
easy.
take shower this time, no? Evening, not evening.
They like it. They like all times. 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning,
Sometimes
6 in the morning.
AM.
Usually, whenever I'm tired and I'm just about to sleep, that's when they decide to take a shower. Anyway, so this is Nikola Tesla, and Nikola Tesla is not very well known in the United States. And you say, well, John, why are you telling me about someone who American people don't know? Because he created a lot of the technology that we have today. If it wasn't for Tesla coming to the United States, I think the United States would be a different place, a little bit. I think a lot of the technology that we are using is because of Tesla. And he was a little bit crazy, and that's why I think he's not as well known. because he was not a regular type of scientist who just worked hard and was calm and talked about math. He was a little bit crazy. Sometimes he talked about aliens. Sometimes he talked about the ether and other places. So he was a little bit crazy, some people think, and I think that's probably why he might not have been as well known as other people. So anyway, so first of all, he came from Serbia. He was not born in the United States, right? And now many people in the United States, they're angry at immigrants. Immigrants are people who come from other countries. They're called immigrants. But Tesla was an immigrant. So if we build a wall around America, we don't let the immigrants in, what are we going to do? We need this guy, right? So anyway, I think that's kind of silly. So the first thing is that he came from Serbia, now Croatia, right? And he was born in 1856. So that was when, remember, the American, just before the Wild West. Remember we learned about America, the Wild West. He was born, he didn't come to the United States, but he was born right about the time of the Wild West. This one. In the United States. So he was born in Serbia, and he went to school there. He was a very good student. He worked really hard. He got very good grades. He did well in engineering and physics. And his mom and dad, though, were preachers, or his dad was a priest or something in the church, and they didn't want him to be a scientist. They wanted him to be a priest or a preacher, or I can't remember what it was. But he didn't want to do that, and he got sick, and he almost died. And when he was sick, his dad said, or he said, if you get better, then I will send you to engineering school, and you don't have to be a priest. Or you don't have to be in the church. And he got better, and his father kept the promise, and so he became an engineer. He went to work for part of Edison's company in Paris. So in America we have another guy named Thomas Edison, and he made the light bulb very popular. He didn't invent the light bulb per se, but he invented a lot of parts of the light bulb that made it useful. And so he became very rich. He made a company called Edison, Thomas Edison, I think, or maybe just Edison. And he became very, very rich. He had different companies in a lot of parts of the world to install electricity and lights in many, many countries. I think that one of those companies was in Paris. And Nikola Tesla went to work for that company in Paris. At that time, there was only one type of electricity that people were using. It's called DC, which means direct current. That means that the electricity only goes one way in the wire. This is a wire. Here's the wire. In the direct current, the electricity just goes like this. Just like this, like a train. It just goes like this. The problem is that it runs into trouble along the way, and so if you try to make the wire really, really long, then the electricity can't go. So Thomas Edison's lights and electricity only could go to one city. it couldn't go from one city to another city. You had to build another power station in another city. But Nikola Tesla invented technology. He wasn't the only one, but he changed a lot of the technology to make AC. So there's DC, which just goes like this. And Nikola Tesla invented a lot of patents to help electricity in the United States and now everywhere in the world use AC. AC means alternating current. It means it's changing. So in the alternating current, the electricity goes like this. It doesn't go along the whole path. It just shakes like this. And so it doesn't have to travel very far. And so it doesn't use as much energy to move. So that's why if you touch the electricity in your house, it goes because it's shaking like this. If you touch a battery, it's just that's a direct current. But if you touch alternating current, if you touched the electricity in your house, you would feel it like this because it's shaking like this. And the reason that's important is because when the electricity just shakes like this, or it's more like a wave, if it just goes up and down like this, then the electricity can go really, really far because it doesn't have to move. Only the shaking happens. And so the electricity can go from Chiang Mai to Bangkok. And Edison, using the direct current, the other one, the DC, couldn't do that. So it became popular, but it was difficult to build. You can't use regular lights with AC. You have to change the lights or you have to change to DC. And so there was a lot of trouble trying to build all of the things in the electricity system to use AC. Nikola Tesla, this guy, he invented 25, I think he has 200 patents in the United States for electricity, for motors, for all kinds of machines. And I think 25 of the most valuable patents, some of the most valuable patents are his, just from him. Anyway, so that's AC, that's the one that everyone uses now. And then there's DC, which is a battery. A battery is just DC. It just goes straight along the battery. But in the house, it like this. So after a while, I don't know if he was working for Thomas Edison in the beginning. He didn't make AC yet. He was working for Thomas Edison, maybe in Paris, I'm not sure, or someone brought him to the United States. There was somebody who was famous in Paris. I don't remember who it was, but that person helped bring Nikola Tesla to the United States. At that time, it wasn't as hard to go to the United States. Remember, on the Titanic, where people were, even after this, it was easier for people to come to the United States at that time. Immigrants weren't hated like now. Finally, he came to the United States in 1884. And that was after the Civil War and during the Wild West. But he didn't go to the Wild West. He was in New York. He was in New York City. He worked for Thomas Edison, making light bulbs and making motors and all those things. But he thought that AC was much better than DC. And he told Thomas Edison, we need to build our systems to use AC, not DC. And Thomas Edison said, no, all of my company is using DC. all of the patents that we have, all of the money that we make is from DC. We can't change. And so Nikola Tesla left. He didn't work for Thomas Edison anymore. He started his own businesses. He started his own lab, like a factory, to make tests, inventions for AC things, motors, lights, and all those things. Eventually, there was another company called Westinghouse that was competing against Thomas Edison. There were three companies at that time. There was Edison, there was Westinghouse, and there was another company called Thomson Houston. Those three companies wanted to control all of the electricity companies in the United States. And at that time, Thomas Edison was the strongest. And Westinghouse, another company, and a guy, also his name is Westinghouse, he was trying to compete against Thomas Edison, and he met Nikola Tesla, and he said, wow, he said, this is great. This is better than DC. This will allow electricity to be sent far away, and it's much cleaner, easier to use, and more powerful. And he said, I will buy your patents. So he gave Nikola Tesla money for his patents for those AC motors. You know what a motor is? So, like in a car, that's a gas motor. But there's another type of motor that's an electric motor, like in a fan. Right? In a fan, there's an electric motor.
Motor.
Yeah, you plug into electricity and it turns.
Okay.
Nikola Tesla invented that. The motor that uses AC. Not the motor that uses DC, but the motor that uses AC. So he had a lot of inventions, and Westinghouse, the company, paid him money, a lot of money, about $7 million, to get those patents from him so that they could build an AC power system to fight against Thomas Edison. And Thomas Edison got very angry. And so because he had a lot of money fighting for DC. And so he used to take dogs and cats and put AC connected to them, and they would die. He wanted people to see that if you use AC, if you use Tesla's technology, it's dangerous. People could die. And that's kind of true. If you touch electricity that's AC, that's high voltage, you get killed. So it is true. It is a little bit more dangerous, but if you protect it, if you use it correctly, it's not as bad as he was pretending that it was. But all of his money was invested in DC, so he didn't want Westinghouse to win. Eventually, though, people started to realize that AC was much better than just using DC. There was a lot of things you could do with it that were better, and the problems that it had, Tesla solved. So he made a lot of money, and he used that money to go drinking. No, he didn't. He used that money, he wanted to build other things. He had other ideas that he wanted to build. After that, he started to he started to work on things that were a little bit more crazy. So after that, he decided that he wanted to build electricity that didn't need wires. He wanted to send electricity across the air, through the air, to lights and to motors and things without wires. So he said that we could send electricity through the earth or through the air, and then people wouldn't need wires. Everywhere in the world, people could use electricity for free. But no one wanted to give him any money for those ideas, so he had to do it on his own. Eventually, he did get some money from another very rich guy in the United States called J.P. Morgan. J.P. Morgan was a really rich banker in the United States, and he liked Tesla's ideas, and he gave Tesla another, I think, 4.6 million to try to build some of these wireless energy transfer systems. Wireless means no wire, wireless. So he thought that he could send electricity everywhere in the world. He was a very good speaker. He used to give presentations, and people used to say that they were mesmerized, when he spoke. He was very good at speaking. I don't know if he spoke, how many languages he spoke, but he was speaking in English when he was in the United States, so he learned very well. I've heard some interviews with him, but not spoken, so I don't know what his English sounds like. Eventually, Edison and Thomson Houston, those two companies combined, and they made a huge company in the United States, which we still have, which is called GE, which is General Electric. General Electric is a huge company in the United States. They make light bulbs, they make generators, they make nuclear reactors, they make engines for airplanes. It's one of the biggest companies in the United States. And it came from Edison and Thomson Houston. They combined together after Edison gave up some rights to the company, I think. Anyway, so there was a problem. Tesla gave some of his patents to Westinghouse, and they didn't have enough money to pay him. And so the guy who owned Westinghouse, George Westinghouse, that's his name, he came to Tesla and he said, okay, I need you to give me these patents. I can't pay you for them. I can't pay what I promised that I would pay. Tesla said okay, and he let Westinghouse use the patents. I think if he didn't do that, probably he would be really, really, really rich. He only got about $7 million, maybe 10 for what he did. But if he would have made Westinghouse pay for those patents, he probably would be he would have been extremely rich. Anyway, he decided not to sue for those patents or to fight for those patents, and he was only interested in science and technology. But as he got older, he started to become, like I said, a little bit crazy, and he started to invent things and talk about things that other people didn't understand. He was also he was involved in the creation of radio waves. So, you turn on the radio. You know what a radio is?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So him and another guy called Marconis or something, Marconi, they both were working on radio waves at the same time. The United States gave the patent to Marconi in the beginning, but later, after World War II, the United States gave the patent rights back to Tesla. And they said, actually, Tesla invented a lot of the technology that is used in radio technology today. And so even after he died, people realized that he did a lot more than some people at that time. He invented another very well-known thing, which is called a Tesla coil, and it's still called a Tesla coil today. It's a big thing that can spark. I don't know if you've seen one.
I know.
But
in some,
you see people touching it and their hair sticks up. That's a Tesla coil.
I saw in Sorcerer movie.
Yeah, exactly like that. That's a Tesla coil. And he became a citizen of the United States in 1891. And so he became a U.S. citizen. And he was 35, and that's when he invented the Tesla coil. Also, it's very famous that he worked on the power systems of Niagara Falls. Do you know what Niagara Falls is? In the United States, we have a huge waterfall in New York. I used to live not far from there. It's called Niagara Falls. If you search for it, probably you'll know what it is, because it's a huge waterfall, one of the biggest.
Yeah, I know.
It's called Niagara Falls. And in the United States, they created a power plant that took the energy from that water, and they asked for Tesla's help and Westinghouse's help to send the electricity from that power station to all of the homes and businesses in New York. Before that, people didn't have lights in their houses. They didn't have fans. They didn't have anything. And so at that time, when Tesla was inventing these things, and also Thomson Houston and Edison, that's when the world became lit, we say. That's when the lights were turned on. He helped with the Niagara Falls electricity power generation. He was very famous at the time. People thought he was a crazy scientist, and they were interested in talking with him. He gave a lot of demonstrations and a lot of speeches, and he was pretty popular. But like I said, he also was a little bit crazy. He would say that he had dreams of inventing things and talking with people in his dreams, and he thought sometimes that he would talk with aliens. And so if you listen to him talk, he does sound a little bit crazy. It's not easy to understand him. It's not just like, hey, today I want to invent something. He kind of talks like, and the air will be lit by the strangeness of humankind's interactions or something. So he does sound a little bit crazy when you listen to him talk. But he can explain things, and he was really smart, absolutely.
Usually, people who are smart, we can understand them.
Can't or can?
Can't.
Right, exactly. Some people who are very smart, it's
Like-
difficult to understand them.
One of my teacher.
Right, not this one, but
No.
another one. Yeah. Okay, let me see if I can get.
Sometimes.
Okay, so people had two choices. They could give money to Marconi for the radio he was developing, but also Tesla had ideas for transmitting radio and electricity through the earth or whatever, but he couldn't get any money because Marconi's system worked. And so people said, it's working. He gave a demonstration. He sent a radio signal from, I think from London to New York or something. I don't know where the test was, but it worked, and people were impressed, and they started giving him money, and it wasn't easy for Tesla to get money for his projects. So he didn't have enough money to do it himself, and so a lot of his ideas as he got older, he couldn't get money to do them. He had a lot of ideas for some types of weapons. Also, he's known for talking about death rays.
What does that
Death rays, like some type of laser or beam that could kill you or destroy things. Like a laser, but a laser is different. This is some type of particle weapon. So he also tried to ask the United States military for money to build things, but I think when they listened to him, they thought he was kind of crazy, and they didn't trust him enough to give him any money. So that's why he's not as well known as some of the other people, because as he got older and maybe even smarter, people couldn't understand what he was building anymore. His original ideas were much more advanced than other people at that time. As he got older, probably maybe he went crazy, or maybe he got so smart that other people just they couldn't keep up. I don't know. But anyway, he ran out of money, and he died in 1943 at the end of World War II with no money, alone.
die when
In 1943, and by himself in an apartment in Manhattan.
so bad die alone
When he died, he had a lot of technology and experiments and inventions in his lab. And the FBI, or the police of the United States, when he died, they went to his lab and they took everything.
just
So people think, Tesla's crazy, or Tesla's stupid, but
but
they took everything that he had.
they don't know how to make continue
They thought there's a chance that maybe those weapons that he was talking about could be real. If
why
I
they
die,
can took why police can took why don't say his family
if
Because he
somebody's special like this, they can take whatever they want. They just say, "Oops, where did it go?" People were scared that someone else was going to take what he had, and maybe there was nothing. Maybe it was just some inventions for cooking and things like that. But anyway, if I die, like if I get hit by a bus, the police are not going to come take my cameras, right? They don't care. I don't have anything valuable. But I think it's interesting that all Tesla stuff was taken, even though people thought he was a little bit crazy, or that he didn't know what he was doing.
but they know he's smart
They took everything he had. So maybe people didn't believe, but they were a little worried that he might have been telling the truth. Also, he never got married. He used to say that no great inventor is ever a married man.
no
So he said that great inventors, people who create great things, are not people who are married.
like you
Did I say that? I don't remember that. Anyway, he also hated girls' pearl earrings.
I don't know
So if you know the ones that come from the Hoi.
อ๋อไข่มุกเหรอ white
Yeah, that's a pearl.
expensive
Yeah, he hated pearls, and if he saw some lady wearing pearls, he wouldn't talk with them. Yeah, so he didn't talk with anyone
That's
if they
like
had
crazy.
pearls. Usually guys don't wear pearls, so it doesn't matter, but many women did at that time, and so he wouldn't talk with them if they were wearing pearls. He never got married. I don't know that he stayed with anyone. Maybe he could have been gay. I don't know. I didn't hear that in any of the examples or research that I did, but you never know. Maybe that he could have just been lying about that. But in his biographies and in his interviews, people used to ask him, when are you going to get married, or why don't you get married? And he always just used to say that his life was for science, and that's what he was going to spend his life for.
Someone know why they born.
Right, exactly. So he's very well known for fighting against Thomas Edison for the light bulb and for lighting. If you do research or you hear people talking about him, they'll talk about the fight between him and Thomas Edison.
There is a movie about this story.
There probably is a movie about Tesla, and definitely many documentaries.
Fight each other to make
electricity. Yeah, definitely documentaries, if not movies, for sure. Also, Tesla disagreed with Einstein. So remember, Einstein and Tesla were living at the same time. I'm not sure that they ever met. There might have been a picture of them together, but Einstein and Tesla disagreed. So Einstein said that, as you remember, E equals mc squared. Tesla said that wasn't true, and that he believed that energy was first, and it created matter, or something like that. I'm not really sure. He didn't have any math or any experiments to show it, so he was just talking. And I think that's why people didn't really listen to him or accept anything that he had to say about that, because he didn't have any examples. Einstein had math. He showed people in things that could be recreated. He showed you E equals mc squared. You can do it. You can understand. Tesla just said, no, he's wrong. And then he would say things like, the ether controls the energy, but there was no math, and so I think people didn't really. Maybe he was right. Maybe he knew something, but he didn't create any science or any math related to his ideas about energy, and so. It was only in his mind. There's no science from him about that. The science from him is in electricity and in AC, all of the patents and technologies that he did. But his ideas about energy and about gravity and those things are not remembered, because he didn't write anything down that I've ever seen. Okay, so a couple more things. Why am I talking about this also? Because in the United States now we have a very famous car company called Tesla.
Car company?
Yeah.
Car.
And they make electric cars. You'll probably someday you'll start to see Tesla cars in Thailand. Probably there are not very many right now, but this is a very famous company in the United States now by a little bit crazy guy called Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
You've seen Elon Musk in Iron Man. He was in Iron Man. If you search for him, you can see him. I'll do another talk about him, because probably people will be interested to know. Anyway, Elon Musk is a little bit crazy. He also came to the United States from South Africa, just like Tesla. He's an immigrant as well, and he came from South Africa. He's alive right now. He made Tesla. He also made PayPal. And PayPal is another company in the United States that does money transfer. He made a lot of money, and now he's building a car company and a space company. He's trying to go to Mars with his space company, SpaceX. Anyway, people think he's crazy when he talks. He says crazy things, but not even close to as crazy as Tesla. So people now, they say, oh, Elon Musk is crazy, he's a lunatic. If you hear him, he is much clearer than Tesla, than Tesla used to speak or to talk. So I think people today have forgotten how crazy some geniuses are. Anyway, Tesla is a very famous car company now, and they're making electric cars. Elon Musk thinks that all cars need to be electric, and the name comes from Nikola Tesla. People in the United States don't really know Nikola Tesla, but they do know Tesla, the car company. Some of them don't understand where the name came from. Many people are starting to talk more about Tesla because it's more popular now, and because there's a lot of documentaries, and I'm talking about it, and a lot of other people talking about Nikola Tesla. But for many years after he died, people didn't know who he was.
In your school, teachers teach about this or not?
No.
Someone important or
Einstein?
Important moments?
No. Tesla has become more popular now because people are doing more research and the internet, and they're interested in things from the past. Also, there's a lot of crazy people who think that Tesla had ideas about all kinds of things. If you do research about Tesla, you'll see some people saying that he was talking with aliens, or he knew how to secretly create energy for free, or all kinds of crazy military weapons and all kinds of crazy things. I don't think those people are correct, but he definitely was crazy and had ideas about some of those things. But I don't know that he actually created them.
Continue his work.
Everyone continued his work. So now all electricity in the world is using the technologies that he made.
But why they said he crazy?
As he got older. So when he was younger and he created all those patents for the AC technology that we use, he got money, and then he used that money to try to invent crazy things as he got older. And as he got older, people started to say, well, I don't know about this. This is a little bit crazy. But when he was younger, all of the AC technology that he built was very, very popular, and now is used everywhere. All the electricity in the world is using AC because of what he and Westinghouse built. Now, we do have different frequencies. So in Thailand, you use, I think it's 50 hertz. That means every second, the electricity is changing 50 times. But in the United States, I think we use 60. That means every time it changes 60 times. So that means that when you use a camera, there's two formats. In my camera, if you look in there, there's two settings. You can use PAL or NTFS or something. I can't remember the other one. But the PAL is for Thailand. It means that the camera will take a picture every 50 times per second. And then you don't see the light flickering. So our eyes aren't good enough to see, but the light blinks.
Like when we turn on camera in phone and focus TV, and
Yes.
we will see.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. The camera is taking a picture at a different rate than the TV is turning on and off. So you see a flicker. Our eyes are not good enough to see it because it's so fast, but the light is turning on and off at 50 times. So if you want to use the right camera that doesn't see that shaking, you have to set it to the frequency of the country. So in Thailand, we set the cameras to
50.
PAL, that's 50, and in the United States, we set it to NFTS or whatever at 60. Anyway, so that is our history of Nikola Tesla. So you tell us. Now remember, if you don't understand, because
a lot of detail.
right, exactly. It doesn't matter because all that I need for you is to understand as well as American people do, which is not very good. So you just need enough to understand when someone's talking about these people. Because I have chosen these because I hear people talking about them all the time. If you watch a movie in the United States, you're going to hear about Einstein. You watch TV in the United States, you're going to hear about Tesla, the car company. Maybe not Tesla, this guy. You're going to hear about the Wild West. You're going to hear about the Titanic. You're going to hear about the Statue of Liberty. You're going to hear about all of these things. You can't watch American TV or talk with American people without hearing about one of these. It comes up all the time. And so if you don't know about it, then it's too difficult to understand what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so if you remember, my descriptions are bad, they're simplified, generalizations, racism, simplification. But I hired Sipti to help you.
To talk like Nicola.
To
No one
describe to
understand.
you the truth in a simple way. So tell us, Sipti, about Nikola Tesla.
Nikola Tesla, he was important person, came from another country,
Serbia.
Mm-hmm. And he make things
Made.
made
Made.
making
Made.
made it
Made. In the
Made.
past. Made.
made electricity เหรอ
He didn't make electricity, but he made...
light bulb
He didn't make the light bulb, but he made a lot of technology
he made a lot of technology
that we use
that we use now
now. AC.
AC
Yes.
Before.
Motors, lights, generators, transformers, all of the technology that we use so that we can send electricity from Bangkok or whatever to all of the houses in the city.
in
Is
the
because of him.
beginning he worked with Thomas Edison เหรอ
Yes.
he made DC
He was helping Thomas
about
Edison.
battery เหรอ
It's not about battery. It's just, remember, it's not changing.
Oh,
It just goes like this.
how electric do
Yeah.
work how electric work
No, he was helping Thomas Edison to make all of his technologies. So the DC light bulb, the DC motor, the DC generator. He helped Thomas Edison first, but then he told Thomas Edison, "This isn't good enough. We should change and build AC systems." And Thomas Edison said no.
because he spent a lot of money
Yeah, on the other ones already.
so
Exactly.
he worked with what Westinghouse
Yeah, he found another guy who had another company who said, "Yeah, this is a good idea, and so I'll pay you for your patents." What are patents? Do you remember?
people to confirm your that is your mind.
It's not a paper, but it's like a license that the
License.
government says, yes, you created that. Yeah.
And after that, he was crazy. Everyone
He got paid. He got a lot of money from
Yeah.
Westinghouse.
a lot of money, and
He said, I have some other ideas.
he will make something is impossible.
I don't know, impossible, but impossible.
No
Other
one-
people thought it was impossible. Yeah.
So he just died without
Well,
anything.
he lived for a long time,
Until-
creating a lot of other ideas, but he didn't get any money for them. His ideas about laser weapons and sending electricity through the earth or whatever, people said, sounds kind of crazy to me. I'm not really going to invest in that.
And he died.
He died in 1943.
1942.
Hmm.
How old him? 35.
No, he was 70 or 80.
35 he made Tesla car.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And still not, he made but not done, right?
What wasn't done?
Tesla car.
No, No, it was finished. Yeah, he built that. That's one of his famous inventions that has his name.
And we forgot about waterfall.
Niagara Falls.
What he did.
He just helped them
To get-
They asked for help.
Energy เหรอ
They asked him to give them ideas about what would be the best thing to use. And he said that AC systems from Westinghouse would be the best. And so when they built Niagara Falls Power Station, they used Westinghouse generators and some of the technology that Tesla created. Good, okay.
He
anything
died
else?
in America เหรอ
Yes, in Manhattan, in New York.
How long he have been in
He was there since he came to the United States in he came in 1884.
1884
So he was in the United States for like 50 years. Yeah.
1884
Yep.
he died 1943
Yep. Mm-hmm. Good. And then what? And then about the car company.
The car company used some idea him to make car electric
It's just his name. So there are.
because car don't use gas.
Yeah.
They use electric. That's why they give name like him.
Yeah, because he is known for electricity. When you think of Tesla, you think electricity. Or you think, I don't know who he is. But if you know who Tesla is, then you think of electricity. Electricity and Tesla are together. And so that's why the Tesla car company it has a good name. Because people think of electricity when they think of Tesla. And usually people like Tesla. Scientists like Tesla. He was very smart. And crazy people like Tesla. They think that he can talk with aliens.
They can talk
So
each other.
a lot of people like Tesla. And he's very popular now. He's becoming more popular as people learn more and more about all of the things that he did. He was kind of... Some people forgot about him for many years because he was kind of crazy, and they thought, well, is he right or wrong? But now, looking back, it's very clear that he was very far ahead of his time.
Okay.
Good. Okay. Any questions?
No.
If you want to see Sipti's new electricity invention, just make sure to add her on Instagram. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Bye
ขอบคุณ
bye.
ค่ะ